I'm testing two heated hoodies to see if paying big money for a name brand is worth it. Milwaukee is one of the biggest names in tools, and their heated gear line has been expanding rapidly. Milwaukee makes some pretty nice stuff, but their premium products come with premium price tags. Venustas is a brand you probably haven't heard of, but they've been carving out their own space in the heated apparel market, and they come in at a much cheaper price than Milwaukee. I'm going to give you an overview of the features of each hoodie and compare them against each other. Then I'm going to tell you which hoodie actually performs better when it comes to keeping you warm. Both hoodies will be linked in the video description, so if you want more information, I've always got you covered. The battery on both of these hoodies is the power behind the whole operation, so let's start there. The Milwaukee Heated hoodie is powered by Milwaukee's well-known M12 battery architecture. If you're a blue-collar guy in the trades or you clicked on this video, there's a good chance that you actually have some of these already. The battery pack is made up of 3 cells arranged in a triangular pyramid, and while it's good for fitting into the handle of a power tool, it's less than ideal for use in clothing because it's big and bulky. You not only have the battery itself, but the battery clips into an adapter and the whole assembly goes in your pocket. It's not great. The Venustas battery is better because it's a flatter design. It's kind of like a large, heavy deck of playing cards, and it's less noticeable when you're wearing it. It's stored in a back pocket that works well when you're standing upright, but for sitting down, like if you're riding in a vehicle, it can be kind of uncomfortable. One thing I don't care for is that you can't access the battery while you're wearing the hoodie. If you're flexible, yes, it's possible to do. But the Milwaukee design is better. If you need to swap out a battery, you can do so while you're wearing the hoodie. With the Milwaukee, you have one pocket for the battery, but it's a pass-through design that gives you 2 options for battery placement. You can wear the battery on your back, or it can be stored in the upfront pocket area. If you're sitting in a vehicle, for example, it makes sense to move the battery lump to the front pocket area. And if you're on your feet working or carrying stuff in front of you, it makes sense to move the battery to the back area. It's nice to have options. Runtime on both of these batteries can last upwards of 3 hours when cranked on high, and I think that's pretty good. If you are familiar with the M12 batteries from Milwaukee, you know how fast they charge. 15 to 20 minutes and you're good to go. It's very impressive, and that's a huge advantage over the Venustas hoodie, whose battery takes literally hours to go from 0 to full for recharging. What about quality though? Both hoodies are actually really nice quality standalone hoodies, heating elements aside. Each of these sweatshirts is thick and heavy duty, and they're really both more like lightweight jackets. Thick and comfortable materials are standard, and both have really high-end stitching, lining, and zippers. With the premium cost of Milwaukee stuff, you kind of expect quality, so there's no surprise there. But sometimes ordering off Amazon can feel like a gamble, especially if you're not familiar with the company, and I can assure you that that is not the case with Venustas. The thick elastic around the cuffs and waist is really nice. The stitching and the seams are flawless. The piping and the seams around the pockets and the zipper area are something you would expect to see on a much higher end piece of clothing. And I'm a stickler for details like that. The inside is lined with this waffle weave style fabric, and it's super warm and very comfortable. And the hoodie is thicker and warmer than the Milwaukee, just as a straight up hoodie. Nothing is perfect though, and there's a few things that I would change about each hoodie. I'm a tall, lanky fella at 6'3", and it's not uncommon for me to find clothing that fits great everywhere else, except it's a little bit short in the torso. Both of these hoodies are a tad short for the tall boys, and while they look great if I'm just standing there not moving, as soon as I bend down, squat, or lift my arms, I start showing off the belly or the butt crack. This is more of a me problem, and being tall, thin, and ruggedly handsome is my cross to bear. But seriously, if you're a tall guy, you probably know what I'm talking about. One thing that I would change about the Milwaukee is I wish it had the thick elastic cuff around the bottom of the sweatshirt. You know, like most hoodies do, including the Venustas. I like that because it helps with wind blocking. One thing that I would change about the Venustas is the light contrast colored brand stitching on the chest. It stands out, and it kind of has like a company logo merch vibe to it. Like you work for a company called Venustas and they gave all their employees branded hooded sweatshirts. Milwaukee is doing it right with the black on black branding. Subtle, classy, and not in your face. You know what's not subtle or classy and very much in your face? Light up power buttons that are bright as hell and always stay lit. Yes, it's my #1 complaint with heated gear in general, and these two hoodies are offenders. It sounds like a minor thing, and you're probably thinking that I'm complaining about nothing here, but I can tell you from owning these that those light up power buttons at night are incredibly annoying. Not only are they distracting to you, the user, but they also draw a lot of attention, and people will notice and ask you questions about your heated clothing. I personally like my heated gear to be a little more subtle, and I actually have one jacket whose power button turns on when you touch it and make the setting, and then after 30 seconds, it goes dark while the jacket stays on. It's a genius design, and I wish everyone would adopt that style of power button. But that's not the case here. The Milwaukee button works by a long press to turn it on and then a short press to toggle between the different power settings. There are 3, but I always recommend the highest setting because it's really not that hot. The Venustas is a little bit different because it has heated sections. That is to say that the hand warmers in the pockets are controlled independently from everything else. Kind of cool. The Venustas has 3 power settings just like the Milwaukee, but they're denoted by different colors. Red is the hottest, and again, that's what I always recommend. I will say that the power button being on all the time does make it easier to see you at night. So if you're outside walking and there's cars present, it does increase your visibility. Hooray for safety. That was weird. The heating function is the biggest reason to buy one of these. The Milwaukee has 3 heat zones, 1 in the back and 2 in the front chest area. They work decently and put off a nice amount of warmth. However, the Venustas hoodie has 5 heat zones, 1 on the back, 2 in the upper chest, and 2 in the pocket area, 1 for each hand. It gets warmer than the Milwaukee heated hoodie by quite a bit, probably because it has 2 extra heat zones. I mentioned it earlier, but the pocket heaters are independently controlled and they don't have to be on with the rest of the heating zones. I think that's a great feature, but in my experience, you're gonna want all of those heat zones on and you're gonna want everything cranked to the max. I like both of these hoodies as a base layer to throw a coat or jacket over the top of and really lock in that heat. Neither one gets scorching hot, but they do help in cold weather quite a bit to take the edge off. If you're a Milwaukee fanboy and have a bunch of M12 batteries already, buy the Milwaukee. And if you buy just the hoodie with no battery and charger, because you already have some, you'll save a lot of money. Otherwise, the Venustas goes toe-to-toe with Milwaukee on quality. It's hotter and keeps you warmer, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper. I test all kinds of heated clothing on the channel, and you can check out more of that content by clicking on the video now. And think about subscribing to the channel because I've got more great videos coming soon. Battery pack on your back.